Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
Hey, I can look at myself naked.
Are you stoned or something?
They tried stoning me, my dear. It did not work.
He likes to create his own sauce.
Well, did you sleep with a man who also slept with Mom and Grandma Catherine?
What? You slept with Dad?
All right. Which one of you sardines called this meat?
Whatever, Major Loser.
Let the party begin!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The Pebble after which a movie is named, but doesn't actually contribute anything to the plot. That's Chad Ekowitz.
And that's Simone LaRue with the most apt description of a movie I've ever heard in my entire life. Good Lord. Okay, I mean, yeah, well, we're going straight into it, I guess. So what are we doing this week then, Simone?
So this week, last week we did kind of a deep dive into movies from my childhood. And this week we're doing a deep dive into movies from your childhood. So we're doing fantastically The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from 95, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
And then we are also doing The Pebble and the Penguin, which you had forgotten about until your mom told you about it, or like reminded you that you watched it. And I think we're about to go into exactly why you'd forgotten all about it.
100%. It was, I think it's more of a safety mechanism than just, life gets the better of you. This, wow. Yowza. Because I mean, you seemed to be relatively excited about it too when we first mentioned it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it wasn't such a big part of your childhood, but you had seen it.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I felt like I had. I don't. And then I started watching it. I was like, oh, I recognize none of these songs. Did it start coming back to you when you started watching it?
It did, especially like the evil penguin Drake. He came back hard and strong.
Voiced by your boy.
Yeah,
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, not Peter Curry. Who's that guy?
Who's Peter Curry?
But yeah, by Tim Curry doing a fantastic American accent, if there ever was one. We'll get into it, but I wanted to ask you, what is it reflected in who I am, these two movies? Do you feel
definitely the Power Rangers? Pebble and the Penguin, I think not so much.
Thank God.
Can you imagine if I was like, yes, I definitely see some of Hubie's characteristics?
Yeah, I would feel really emasculated immediately by one sentence and horrified.
No, luckily not.
So, I mean, I think I know which way you would want to do this, just because of how diametrically
should we let the drinks
these
decide
films.
This time?
Okay, yes,
Just,
let's do.
For that one person that cares about the rules, who has been fuming the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Let's do it, especially since justice and order has come back to the world a little bit, which I think we'll speak about later in the podcast. Yeah. But yeah, let's return to the law and order. What are you drinking this week?
The weather this weekend was garbage, which is so fun for November, where it's supposed to be hot and beautiful. So I'm pretending it was warm and drinking a crisp white wine.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I can see the ice blocks in there. You're really summering it up. Getting in that summer vibe.
As I wear a sweater with a polar neck underneath.
It's summer, damn it. It is summer.
Cape Town weather.
Gotta love it.
And what are you drinking?
This week, I just was looking through the local supermarché, and I found a delightful looking beer called the Golden Torch. It's a session pale ale. It's like this Golden Torch, I think, is the brewery, and this is their their partying going out line of beers. So there's like a sesh pale ale, and then there's like a rave pale ale, which is really
I can't imagine
ironic.
Going to a rave and being like, you know what I want at this rave? A pale ale.
Yeah, that is definitely not the drink of one who goes to a rave, right? Like, it's too heavy, it's too bubbly. Like, no.
No, it's not a fun time.
No. But it is actually quite a delicious beer, and it's just like a really fun bottle. I just appreciate the bottle.
It's a great design.
It's 3.9, so I think you win.
I definitely win.
Yeah. Yeah, which I'm fine with because I would much rather spend a majority of the time talking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and just, you know, let's get through this tough bit. Let's get through Pebble and the Penguin, and then we can move on to some backflip kung fu action.
God. Okay. The Pebble and the Penguin.
You're just like, you have to mentally and physically prepare to go over this movie again.
Okay. So, as a lot of people know about penguins, penguins go up and down the beach looking for the perfect pebble, and they present this pebble to their mate, and if their mate likes it, then they're together forever. As you know, penguins mate for life. Hubie, voiced by Martin Short, is desperate to win the affections of Marina, voiced by Annie Golden. He wanders up and down the beach looking for the perfect pebble, but he's kind of like a nerd, and he's not like the other penguins, so he doesn't even think Marina will like him. Spoilers, she does like him. And he eventually makes a wish on a star, and the star sends down this perfect green, I think it's a gemstone, and I don't think it's a pebble at that point.
I thought it was just a radiated piece of rock that was going to give all this pebble population cancer.
Kryptonite, I think. But before Hubie can give Marina his pebble, Drake, the baddie, played by Tim Curry, fights Hubie and pushes him off a cliff into the ocean below. Hubie survives, but is picked up by a ship that steals penguins to sell to zoos. While he's on the ship, he meets Rocco, played by Jim Belushi. He and Rocco manage to escape the ship, but end up 3,000 miles away from Antarctica and have to get back. Throughout the journey, Hubie and Rocco form an unlikely friendship because Rocco is very grumpy and Hubie is very annoying. They both get back to the North Pole. Hubie thinks Rocco is dead, but he's got the confidence now to fight Drake. He fights Drake. It seems pretty needless because Marina wants to be with him anyway, but Drake's a really sore loser. And he wins, and he and Marina get to be together with their pebble. And that's the story.
So what is your scene that could have saved it? What the fuck? No, let's try that again. What's your cliffhanger?
My cliffhanger's gotta be this one. And it's where Marina's talking about why she likes Hubie.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, you know, why she doesn't want to be with Drake or whatever. The dialogue in this is so painful. And also Marina's bar is so low. She's just like, he's nice to people. Girl.
Yeah. But like,
Marina.
let's be fair. Marina is setting the example of, I guess, most women in the fact that the bar is so low.
Oh,
like,
God. Ladies.
which is in itself heartbreaking, guys.
A guy being nice is the bare minimum.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, if he says he's a nice guy, you know he ain't.
Come on.
If he has to identify that, no.
Hubie does like this whole song about how he's not like other penguins because he thinks about the universe sometimes and he's not interested in getting married like all the other penguins. But that's like really undercut by the fact that he's talking to the girl that he desperately wants to marry or mate with. Actually, they say mate a lot in this, and they're like, oh, Hubie has to be back in 10 days before the mating ceremony, which is very interesting for a child's movie.
Yeah, they really like to interchange mate and marrying for like whenever they like whenever it kind of suits them. Like I think at some point a executive director or someone came in and was like, wait guys, this is a kids movie, we cannot say mate this much, we need to say marry. And those were the and they were just like, but we've already done the lines. I don't want to speak to Jim Belushi again. I really fucking don't. Can we just put this out there and then just see what happens? But yeah.
So apparently the producer and co-director, Don Bluth, he hated this result so much after the production was wrapped up that they demanded to go uncredited.
Wow. Okay. Damn. That is pretty heavy going. I mean,
apparently like halfway through the studio came in and, you know, like they pulled a Suicide Squad. They wanted a bunch of rewrites. They wanted characters taken out. They wanted scenes taken out. They wanted reanimations done. So that explains why this movie is very choppy and very lacking. What did you think of it?
Sorry, I thought you were going into something there. I thought you were okay. I do not. Oh, it is chaos. You know, like with the very much like with Swan Princess, it's drawn in that old fashion, and it's got like the painting and it's all that kind of vibe. But there is just so much going on all the time. And it's, you know, you got fighting with sea lions, and there's this side fighting with orcas, and then you got fighting between penguins, and it's all very, it's just visually, like, I don't understand how kids didn't feel incredibly like anxious and overwhelmed.
They also made some very specific visual choices. Like the way Hubie is drawn is very strange. Like, I mean, all of the penguins have hands at the end of their flippers, which is upsetting the more you look at it. With Hubie, they decided to make him really round, but then like not cute, because he's not cute. He has a man's voice, but they give him these round cheeks and these long eyelashes and this chubby little body. And it somehow makes him unendearing because he's just, well, he's ruthlessly annoying. But like, you're like, okay, so this is definitely like a grown-ass male character. This is not supposed to be a little boy. But then why does he look like that?
Like a child, and he pretends like he's got this like weird innocence, and then he's just like needlessly aggressive at points, and there's just no character direction with this guy. And I mean, maybe it's just sort of my 2020 sensibilities, but as soon as I hear someone describe someone else as my girl, I'm already just like, I'm very anti you. You don't get to no.
He honestly, it creeps me out a little bit because like he flip-flops so much. It just sounds like his character is like kind of just trying to reflect what he thinks he's supposed to be like in a given moment. And like, you know, his like little stutter and stuff comes and goes so often that it's actually pretty insincere. And it seems like some psychopath pretending to be a shy penguin.
Yes.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah, you know this guy, if he doesn't like the baby that him and Marina produce, he's going to eat it without question. That's it, like without question. And he's going to force her to make him another one. And it's just, it's, just everything about it. It just screams like this horrible, like rape culture as well. Like that whole song with Drake as well. Don't Make Me Laugh. Drake is a character.
Terrifying.
I can't with these characters. Like, I don't understand why I love this movie so much as a kid. Like I genuinely, now that I look at it,
the songs aren't even that good.
The songs make no sense. Like they really feel like they were forced in there because it was like, oh well, kids movies need songs, right? Yeah, well, let's just half-ass these fucking weird songs that we'll put into this thing.
I mean, even the opening song about the perfect Pebble is exhausting. So by the time like that song's over and we finally get into the story with some British woman narrating poorly,
of course,
by that point you're already like, Jesus Christ, how much longer is this movie?
Yeah, and it feels so much longer than it is.
So long.
Because it's actually quite relatively short. It's like 120, not even, I think. And it's just like, but it goes on for eons because there's just no pacing in the chaos. It's somehow just, we're going from scene to scene that makes no sense. And we come to the end and everything's fine somehow.
There's no character development from anyone. Hubie loves Marina and wants to be with her, or he thinks he does. I don't know. Who can say what's going on with that guy? They're separated by time and distance. He makes a friend who he irritates the shit out of the whole way.
And lies
gets back, and then like ends up with his love. So the only thing that was really standing between them was distance. And like, not like he didn't grow as a person. I guess you could maybe argue that he got a little bit braver to fight Drake at the end.
Yeah, he learned to fight. Violence was the answer.
And then at the end, they try and shove like this moral in where they're like, true love conquers all. And it's like, not really. He just got obscenely lucky several times.
Yeah, for reals. Like this guy should have died a very long time ago. But there was so many Deus Ex Machina, like it just happened that he survived everything. I mean, the fact that Drake dies at the end it's okay. First of all, that's the weirdest fucking scene of all time because he gets thrown down his lair. And it's like implies that he's died, and then he comes back up and then they crush him to death with his lair. And it's just like, but but why go to this level for a kids movie? I don't understand.
Can't he learn the error of his ways?
Like, it makes no sense. Yeah, it's all okay. We need to talk redeeming factors because we have now bashed on this movie because it's well deserved. Is there anything that you actually liked about this movie?
I liked Jim Belushi in this as the grumpy friend. He tried to make the characters interesting as he possibly could. Obviously, always a big fan of Tim Curry when he plays a villain. He's so good at it.
Oh yeah, the best. And it was interesting to hear his voice in this as well, because in terms of like it's Jim Belushi and him who are like the stars who are carrying this movie forward.
Pretty much.
And yeah, it's just really fun to see Tim Curry as like this big buff macho penguin wearing a cape, and that's just like, yeah, that's fun. That's interesting. Apart from like the chaos of it all, I did enjoy the drawing. Like the animation was pretty good. I'm talking like for the orcas and the seals and that kind of thing.
Sure.
Definitely not Hubie. You've made a very good point that he is so creepy.
Just the strangest character design choices I have ever seen.
It makes sense
Marina
why this movie
has a rose on the back of her head. I suppose it's supposed to represent that she's got like a bun in her hair or something. But like, where is she getting a rose in Antarctica?
That's surviving that long. Like everything about their dresses makes no sense because she's got like the choker as well. Which, I mean, maybe that's just a commentary on what we're doing to the planet and killing everything with plastics, but that's also fucking depressing. And Hubie's got a hat and a scarf. He's a penguin. Those are the guys who don't need that kind of stuff. I don't get that.
And then the rules of penguin society are so baffling because they're like, okay, you have to give the pebble, but you can only give it on this specific day for like a mating ritual, which already, and then if you don't choose a mate as a lady penguin, you get banished. And I understand this movie was trying to introduce some tension and a time limit, right? Like, but it was just so bizarre. I was like, okay, so if she's unhappy with the choices presented to her, which seem very slim.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, yeah, fuck off. That's a great survival mechanism for penguins.
I would love
Let's banish
to see,
the fertile females.
It's always it's what you do to keep a society and a species going. Is just banish the good ones who have thought a little bit about mating. Yeah, absolutely. Just tell them to go away. Although, let's be fair, the banishment group, the crew who are banished, are going to be way healthier and like just like a really thriving society because they get to choose the mates that they actually want to be with. So that's actually a good move.
They only do it to women. Like, there's no thing where it's like, oh, if a guy gets rejected, he's banished too. So the stakes are immediately much higher for women in the society to settle than it is for men to, I don't know, improve themselves, be nicer, be less rapey.
Simone, like you were literally describing everything everywhere all the time in real life. Like,
let's not.
Like this movie is actually a really good true reflection of how awful society is. And who knew? I mean, I think if my parents had been a bit more cognizant and like the time was different and everything, like if they had seen me watching this and wanting to watch this on repeat, which I apparently did, if I was a parent, I'd just be like, no, absolutely not, definitely not, never this movie ever, no. Yeah,
weird times.
So scene that could have saved it, if there is, it's impossible to do one thing that could have saved this movie, but
maybe there's like some growth where Drake learns that like he doesn't really like Marina, or like maybe it's not, you can't force someone to want to be with you, and if you do, that's bad. And I don't know, they just kill him off and they need some sort of redemption arc somewhere because there's not a lot of redeeming stuff about this movie. Maybe Marina's like, oh, you know what? I don't need a man at all.
That would actually be pretty perfect. Yeah, that
Hubie,
would.
You're really weird, Drake. You're such an asshole. I'm out.
Yeah, and she actually wants to be exiled because she just cannot be dealing with these people anymore.
Exactly.
That's actually a very good point. Yeah, comes to the
Mm.
end. She sees how much Hubie's being a dick for
Yeah.
fighting, which she
Yeah.
loved about the fact in the beginning, like that he is such a pacifist, and now he's like a big fighter, and
Yeah.
she's just like, no, I hate who you have
This
become.
is awful.
So no, exile for me. Good
And
point.
then
I
she
like
like
that.
swims up to Cape Town beaches and just chills and has a great time.
Yeah.
Meets a nice Cape Townian boy.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be lovely. Or like a wonderful Cape Townian woman, and then they just
Or,
live as she's progressive. She's just living her best life.
I'm not judging.
No.
They adopt a little abandoned penguin. Hmm.
That's the story I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your
That's nice.
scene?
That it sounds like the perfect movie. I don't know. I just I agree. There's no hope for this movie. I want to see everyone die in that scene where Drake's castle lair just crumbles to the ground. Everyone dies. It's all very sad. Or even just like Hubie gets sold off to a zoo and has to think about what he's done.
Yeah. It would also be nice if the Pebble played any role at all. It's just this thing
Yes.
that the stars send down. And he can apparently see Marina through it at some point. That's never explained or mentioned again.
Yeah, it's a
and then he just
clairvoyant.
carries this kind of pretty rock around until the end.
And that's when she goes like, oh, it was never about the Pebble, it was about the penguin. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake, I've just traveled
Lady-
3,000 miles.
It's like if someone gives you an engagement ring, and yeah, of course, it's not about the ring, it's about the guy giving it to you. But he still probably put a lot of effort and money into it. The least you could do.
Yeah, just appreciate this fucking
Yeah, be
beautiful
like,
penguin.
oh yeah,
that
it's really
Pebble.
nice. Not like, well, I don't give a shit about this.
It would hurt. It would sting. But again, because Hubie is a serial killer, he has no feeling about it. Good lord.
Marina, blink twice if you need help.
This is my girl.
Oh, that was accurate.
Yeah, it's real creepy. So if you listeners have never seen this movie before, don't just don't do it,
Give it a
guys.
skip.
Yeah, this was a mistake of a movie, and
Yeah.
I'm sad that I watched it because it kind of ruins that place in my childhood, but I'm also glad that I
Yeah.
watched it again so I can be like, oh, like if I'm out in public, I can and someone mentions it, I can be like, no, this film is terrible, instead of, oh,
Does
I
not
remember
hold up.
that. What a great film. Yeah. So I'm assuming you're not going to watch it again.
God, no. I didn't even want to finish watching it the first time. I was like, how much of this can I get away with not actually looking at? And the answer was nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things I can imagine it just burns into your mind just constantly. You can never unsee that.
Well, also being so fantastically unmemorable.
Yes, good point. It's an enigma wrapped in a mystery.
Mm.
Well,
Shall we move along?
let's do some Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Oh, I love it. It's so good. Yes, let's cleanse our palates, shall we?
Yes, please explain this plot line because
Just
Oh,
all
boy.
you need to know is that if you're in a tight spot, Simone, you just need a backflip out of it. Always.
if you need to get somewhere in a hurry, don't run, backflip.
It's the most economical form of travel. Everyone
Your
knows
friend
this.
10 meters away is injured and you need to check on them, backflip.
Flip that shit. All right, here we go. The Mighty Morphing Power Rangers are here in their first ever full-length motion picture production. Just in case you've been living under a rock for the last 30 years, the Power Rangers are a group of teens with attitude employed by a giant floating head called Zordon. Zordon bestows these teens with super fighting powers as well as incredible technology called Zords, which are giant transforming robots which help them fight bad guys. The Power Rangers also take on animal or dinosaur personas depending on the series. So for this movie, you have Billy, the Blue Ranger, played by David Yost, who takes on the persona of the Triceratops. Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, played by Amy Jo Johnson, whose persona is the Pterodactyl. Adam, the Black Ranger, played by Johnny Young Bosch, who is the Mastodon. Aisha, the Yellow Ranger, played by Karen Ashley, who is the Saber-toothed Tiger. Rocky, the Red Ranger, played by Steve Cardenas, who is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then you have the leader, Tommy, the White Ranger, played by Jason David Franks, whose persona is the White Tiger. The Power Rangers are just going about their lives in Angel Grove when one day on the building site, these construction workers uncover this giant purple egg. At that moment, the Power Rangers are called to Zordon's base, where he tells them that the egg contains a great evil, Ivan Ooze, played by Paul Freeman. Ivan Ooze was once trapped in that. Ivan Ooze was trapped in that egg over 6,000 years ago by Zordon because Ooze was an evil murderer who wanted to enslave the whole universe. Now, Zordon wants the Power Rangers to secure the egg so that it can never be opened. Unfortunately, Rita Repulsa, played by Julia Cortez, and Lord Zed, played by Mark Ginther, teleport to Earth to free Ivan from the egg so that they can continue on their long reign of terror. As soon as Ivan is free, he basically betrays Rita and Zed, locking them in a snow globe. The Power Rangers return to the egg, see that Ooze is free, and start panicking. That's when Ooze shows up, and they have a massive battle between the Power Rangers and some of Ooze's goons. While the Rangers are distracted, Ooze goes to Zordon's lair and basically kills him. With Zordon in such a weak position, on the brink of death, the Power Rangers no longer have their powers. Their only hope now is for Alpha 5, Zordon's helpful robot assistant, played by Peter Marie Rickson, to send the Rangers to a distant planet to try and acquire the Great Power. This is an ancient power which many have tried to obtain, but none have. This is Earth's last hope against Ooze. While the Rangers are on the distant planet, Ooze brainwashes all of Angel Grove's parents to work for him, building a massive Ooze factory and also excavating some humongous steel robot monsters that Ooze will use to take over the world. Back on the distant planets, the Rangers run into Dulcia, played by Gabrielle Fitzpatrick, who is this Xena warrior princess type character who helps the Power Rangers get the great power. Once transformed, the Power Rangers take on their new animal personas and head back to Earth to kick Ivan Ooze's butt. Back on Earth, they face off against Ooze and his giant evil robot monsters, and with the help of their new Zords, they defeat him, essentially blowing him up in space. Angel Grove and the world is safe. The end.
The end. Chad, what is your cliffhanger? I'm desperate to hear what you chose.
So it has to be this one, and it's when they're with Dulcia on the planet and they get their new personas, and they're all like, oh, he's the white tiger and it's beautiful, and he's this and he's the frog, and like they're all trying to explain it, and he's fucking pissed off that he's a frog, and old Dulcia is like, even the frog needs a good kiss to become a prince, and it's like, what does that have to do with anything Power Rangers?
She says nice things about everybody else, and then this guy's like, "Oh, I'm a frog," and she could be like, "Oh,
the noble
athletic.
Frog." Yeah.
Sneaky, I guess. Anything, and she's like, "Frogs turn into princes," and he's like, okay, I was like, this is the most savage thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was so beautiful. Like, she was not prepared for that, and she had to improv it so hard. It was beautiful.
You could tell in her mind, she was like, oh shit, that is rotten luck, my guy.
She's going to all of them individually and like explaining their powers, and she sees like in her peripheral vision that he's a fucking frog. And she's like, what the fuck am I gonna say to this dude?
Oh god.
I'm so fucking scared. Oh, it's so good. I want to talk about the first thing, which is how this movie tries to paint off its racism, but somehow ends up just being as racist as the original, which is just like, it's a new type of racism, which is always fun.
Which incident are you referring to?
Well, I mean, okay, so the original 93 Power Rangers was just incredibly racist. You had the Black Ranger, who was a black man, who before he did any martial arts move, did a breakdance. You had the Yellow Ranger, who was Asian, who was really good at maths. And then obviously you have the Red Ranger, who is a white male as the leader. And, it was just incredibly racist. And they were like, right, we can't do this for the full-length film. So what we'll do is we'll have the black lady being the Yellow Ranger, because that's fine, and then we'll have, why don't we have the leader be a white Power Ranger? And it's just like, you missed it, guys. Yeah, you fucked it again.
Yeah, and then there's like this character that's clearly modeled on like native peoples to this planet that they're on. Who is basically naked, very spiritual, and it's like, it's almost like by making that character a white character, it's somehow worse.
Definitely. Definitely. And then obviously just the sheer levels of anti-Semitism in this is just incredible. I mean,
I'm sorry, I don't pick up on this stuff. Where was it anti-Semitic?
well, you've got Alpha 5, who's just like ay 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 ay, and is this like ditzy thing, and then Ivan Ooze, who is just like the principle of like the Jewish stereotype, being the evil character.
I did not pick that up at all, but I'm not sensitive to these things. So, is Alpha 5 Jewish?
I think he
or is that just like a thing in your head? Like, the worrying Jew stereotype in this robot with no defining Jewish features.
I mean, maybe I'm looking a bit too into it just because I know like how racist Power Rangers traditionally is. Yeah. But it's just, that is the stereotype of just like this worrying Jew, and they always say, ay, ay, ay. But also, now that you've said that, I really want Alpha 5 to be Jewish. And he's just like, he's inviting Zordon and the Power Rangers over for Hanukkah and Rosh Hashanah. And he's just doing the blessings and everything. And it's just great. And everything's going wrong. And he's just like, ay, 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 my Knabelach. Ay, 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 ay. And that's all I want now, from now on, is just Alpha 5 to be Jewish.
Right. And you're pretty sure that Ivan Ooze was Jewish.
Well, he was anti-Semitic. Like, his character's very anti-Semitic, and I just feel like okay, so when he's the wizard and he's got the things and the hair.
I'm not trying to like challenge you here. I'm genuinely trying to understand like what I missed.
Yeah. No, there's also like a traditional sort of like stereotype with the hair. When he's the wizard, he's the Ooze wizard. The hair is very sort of Nazi propaganda kind of, that kind of hairstyle and stuff, and so yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't mean it on purpose, but they just really
didn't mean to make him Jewy. Is that? Do we have to cut that out?
No, we can never cut that out because it's so perfect. And I mean, guys, Simone is the most wonderful sort of egalitarian human being. She would never ever do anything like that intentionally. But please, if you have not watched the YouTube videos yet, just go on to see her reaction to herself saying Jewy, because it's like Christmas has come. I
didn't like it as it came out of my mouth.
It was beautiful. It's like that scene in 30 Rock where Jack is dating Penelope Cruz, and she's like, what do you call you? And she's like, oh, Puerto Rican. I don't know if I can say that.
No, but what do I say?
So your thoughts on this movie, The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
I was wildly entertained by this movie. I laughed out loud so often that Rudy asked me what on earth I was watching that was so funny. The fight scenes are chef's kiss perfection.
Yes.
Just the flipping, the ridiculous, like gravity defying, they're clearly on a wire stunts. The banter that they have to say every time they do a kick, and if there's a pun, it's an extra powerful kick. Like, oh, see you next fall. And it's so much fun. And I think this movie, because I also used to watch this on repeat as a kid.
Oh yeah.
This movie really made me believe that if I was a cool kid in high school, I'd get to go rollerblading with all my friends. And we'd skydive more often. I didn't skydive in my childhood as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Power Rangers really ruined things for us because it made it seem like you were going to have this like totally tubular renaissance in your teen years. Because if you were a teen with attitude, you just did things like skydiving. And it's heartbreaking to know that all we kind of did was just like go drinking and stuff, like illegally.
Cried. You know, had undiagnosed anxiety that we just had to deal with.
Yeah. And I love the idea of these teens just like, yeah, let's go skydiving. Could you imagine trying to get 6 of your friends to go skydiving with you?
Even now, as an adult, like the organization alone would not be worth it.
No, not even a little bit. But yeah, I think you're so right. It's the little quips. Like, you can get rid of the story. I don't care. But give me the quips. Give me during that bird fight as well, like calling them bird brain and stuff like that. Just it's all perfect.
Incredible. poor animation at the end. Like these are brand spanking newfound powers that they have with new spirit animals. So like before, if someone was a triceratops, now they're like a wolf or some shit.
Yeah.
So apparently spirit animals are very interchangeable in the Power Rangers universe. But they have these new spirit animals, and they immediately figure out that they can make a mech if they just, you know, say the right things and put the right swords together. And then they immediately also know how to pilot these various ships that then transform into a mech. It's real fun.
It's so cool, and I mean, I love it as well, like because it's so clear. Like some of the lines were really big afterthoughts, because like they form the mech, they form their giant Zord, and everyone's like, oh right, cool, it's got blasters and shit. And then there's Kimberly who just goes, nice stereo, and it's just and it's just so out of character, and like you can just feel in the line when it's said that she just didn't believe in it and she just wasn't feeling it. And I love the Power Rangers. I just love them because it's just they're a group of teens who fit into their zones so well. They don't have these like complex personalities. The blue is the nerd, the red is the jock, and then you've got the special colors, which are your leaders, emerald and white, and then you've got the hot girl who's always pink because you know hot girls are pink, and it's just ridiculously fun from start to finish.
You know, I think this week we really needed something where good is good, evil is evil. There's no nuance. There's no questioning it. Of course, these teenagers should be the ones to save the world. Of course, Ivan Ooze is evil. He's made of ooze, you guys.
Oh man, his whole rhyme scheme
Parental
as
supervision? I don't know her.
Yeah. They're all having that party at the end, and like I love that party as well, the kids party, because you've got such an eclectic age range. You've got like 18-year-olds hanging out with 6-year-olds, and it's like, what is this party? Like
very inclusive.
It's very inclusive. Like the buddy who saves all the parents, like their little friend who saves all their parents, he's definitely not as old as Skull and Bulk or whatever their names were, the two like goons, and they're just like hanging out together and everything's fine, and at the end everyone's like, good job, bud, like, you know, everyone's just friends, and it's
and then
a very
at the end
cool
they also
society.
tell them, they're like, oh, we hear you could be in line to become a Power Ranger one day, and I'm like, what is the system here?
Why are you promising
you age
this kid
out of
something? Yeah, like they like they finish high school realizing that they've done nothing with the last 5 years of their lives, and they're just like, and Zordon's like, well, I can't help you. I'm so sorry. Like,
it's creepy.
Thanks for your time.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's an odd system. Yeah, especially because like they don't get paid, so it's sort of just like a weird internship that gives them no skills. Yeah, it's a very, very weird system. But honestly, just really enjoyable too, because like what my favorite part of the whole thing is when they're in their suits, every single movement is windswept. So like they'll raise an arm and it'll go whoosh, whoosh, and it's just fantastic that your movements in the suits are so fast and so powerful, even to just give a thumbs up, that you immediately just cause wind to spread. It's so pretty. I think.
I mean, there's not much more to say, really. I was thrilled watching this.
Yeah. Is there anything that you particularly didn't like?
I mean, I would have liked for Dulcia to have more clothes on.
Yeah.
But the actress clearly worked out very hard. Her abs looked incredible. She was wearing that outfit, such as it was. But it just seemed very unnecessary. Like she's supposed to be this like spiritual guide, and she looks like a bikini model.
Yeah, it was a bit outrageous because, you know, she's on this island by herself. So I guess like, you know, you would be sunbathing like all the time and stuff. And just working out.
Survivalism.
Yeah. But it is really weird. Like these teens show up and you're just like, oh, hey guys, this is my island and you're here for some reason, and it's we're all good. And I am also can turn into an owl, apparently. Just
so like go like on a hike to get to the temple place thing where they do the spirit journey vibe. Again, very appropriation-y, but anyway. They do this like whole hike thing, and the whole time she's in like her high-heeled boots and a bikini. You don't want to change into some better gear, Dulcia?
Yeah. especially because like the power also, or the great power also gave all of them like cloaks and hoods and stuff.
Yeah, very, very actually covering clothes.
Yeah, but not for Dulcia. She's naked. That's fine. That's okay. Yeah.
You know
Also
what?
the
If
fact,
I had a body like Dulcia's,
good point. I didn't like the fact that the leader had a ponytail.
you hated his ponytail?
I hated his ponytail. I hated it so much. There's just something about a man with a long ponytail that I just don't trust.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't
maybe
realize that
it's-
you were so closed-minded.
Maybe I'm just a bit judgy, and maybe, you know what, I need to grow a little bit more, but I don't mind man buns, weirdly enough. I'm okay with the man bun. I'm okay if
Right.
you let it go long and let it flow. But
Yeah.
as soon as you put it in a ponytail, oh, don't trust
I
you,
mean,
pal.
he's fighting. He's in like a suit with a helmet. A ponytail is one of the better options.
Yes, or alternatively, cut it off. Have a short haircut.
Wow. I really didn't know that this was like such a hot button issue for you.
It really is. Hairnet. There's another thing he could do. Hairnet.
You would hate it if the main protagonist had a hairnet on, Chad. Don't even start with me.
I would love it if just like as he's doing it, like everyone else has to go first with their little fucking Zord things and be like Tyrannosaurus, and like while the camera's on them like doing their thing, he's just like in the background like, fishing out a hairnet, puts it on quickly, and then he does his one. He's like white tiger.
I don't want helmet hair, you guys.
You know what? It wasn't a problem for Kimberly. It wasn't a problem for Ashley. They
That's
let their
true.
hair flow. So why? Yeah, no.
That's true.
I'm fine to be closed-minded on this.
I just find it really funny that like, yeah, you're like, yeah, anti-Semitism, blah, 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 blah. But the ponytail.
Yeah, I can excuse the racism.
you can excuse you can excuse the racism.
All right, scene that could have saved this.
I don't know. I just wish all the men had ponytails.
Oh, how very dare you? How dare you ruin everything?
You know what? I'm gonna say again, I'm sorry. I don't know if this is offensive or not. I thought Ivan Ooze was a very fun villain. I thought he was very sassy. I liked his little one-liners and his quips and how he was like the only person aware that these were children fighting him. Like these were babies that were somehow responsible for like defeating him, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it does feel very weird that they were just like he does make a point of that. Like, wouldn't it made more sense to get like 5 to 7 of the world's strongest people? Like,
Yeah,
I know CrossFit wasn't a thing back then, but like 7 of the world's best CrossFitters with attitude, because apparently attitude is what you need for this job. That's like the prerequisite.
martial artists.
That's even better. I don't know why I went straight to CrossFit, but yeah, martial artists.
Well, CrossFit actually makes you functional and fit, so shut up.
Yeah. What's your I was gonna say WAP, but I don't know what their fucking thing is. What is they've got like a Mao. It's like a, I don't know. CrossFit's weird, man. I'm sorry if any of our listeners are CrossFitters, but guys, just work out. Stop telling people about it. I don't care.
I work out all the time. You know who I talk to about it? No one.
And rightly
It's
so.
great.
Yeah, you're still fit, so it makes no difference. Yeah, look, just because he is an anti-Semitic villain doesn't mean he's not fun. He's a super fun villain. He rhymes. Don't quote
I
me
can
on
look
that.
past the anti-Semitism because let's be honest, he is fun. We are just painting ourselves into these corners.
I'm so excited that we're doing this the week of the Democratic win, that we're just like, now, like the whole time we've just been like, fuck Trump, fuck racism, and now we're just like, yeah, racism.
The racism's okay if the movie's fun.
We're not bad people, guys. We swear. Like, it's Power Rangers. The rules don't apply to Power Rangers.
It's been a week.
Oh, it has been a week. For me, a scene that could have saved it, I don't know, maybe like a harder trial for them to get the power. Like, all they do is like fight a single dinosaur skeleton.
Yeah.
And then they meet up with Dulcia, and then like that's it, and then they get the power. And I just kind of would have been like, even if like one of them had to, you know, quote unquote, like sacrifice himself, but actually doesn't, then that would have been cool. But just nothing.
Yeah.
And I would have just liked a little bit harder for you to get your weird animal totems.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Actually, instead of the ponytails, I just like, I felt like all of these characters were so interchangeable and replaceable. I truly knew nothing about any of them. So they could have gotten rid of at least one of the pointless fight scenes and introduced like a little bit. Who are they? Why do we care? Why are they Power Rangers? Do they like it? I don't know. Something. That's what I liked about the newer Power Rangers movie. There was depth.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's only like one scene where you get like a little bit of a deep, meaningful conversation, and that's when Kimberly and Tommy have their chat on the island, and he's just like, and she's just like, I'm so scared for Zordon, and then Tommy's just like, I want to have sex with you, so that's why I care.
You'll get over it.
You'll get over it. What I do feel sorry for the Red Ranger, because obviously he's traditionally the leader, and then as soon as you bring in the White Ranger, like his power is usurped, and that just like, if I was the former leader, I would be pretty miffed if this random rogue Power Ranger came in and was like, it's my show now. I'd be pretty miffed.
I mean, you definitely have to fight it out for dominance.
Yeah, I would love to see that fight as well. Yeah, backflip it out. But I would love to see that as well, because it would just be great, because the Red Ranger's like got to fight the White Ranger, and then like Kimberly comes in and she's like, oh, can I fight for leadership? And they're like, what?
Oh, honey.
No. Oh, no.
Girl can't lead the Power Rangers. What are you doing?
Come on. Get out of here.
Look at
you. So would you watch this again?
Probably. Very specific circumstances, but I don't know. Sometimes you do just need something really silly to take your brain out. Don't think too hard about the racism. And have a good time. Maybe I'd watch the newer Power Rangers, like try and be a little more woke about it, but like also like no one's watching this for the social content. It's all about the ridiculous fight scenes. Yeah,
definitely. Like, I think it's just those one-liners and the ridiculous fight scenes that do make this film what it is, and how special it is to us all. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's got to be very special circumstances. Maybe like you're throwing a Power Rangers party, like you got all your friends around, they dress up.
5 years old again.
I don't appreciate your snack. I really don't.
What Power Ranger did you want to be when you were a kid? What was your favorite?
Blue. I was never like the red leader. I was always like the nerdy one who was just on the Power Rangers because they needed another guy. Yeah. How about you? What was your Power Ranger?
It always had to be pink, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. Like you didn't have many options,
I was a white
did
girl. You had to do pink.
Yeah, you didn't get many options back then. But you could be whatever ranger you want now.
I guess. I'd probably be yellow just because I do actually wear a lot of yellow in my day-to-day life. So it would really work out suit-wise. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. At least you'd be always color coordinated, which is the important bit.
Exactly. And apparently that's one of the prerequisites.
Of course, yes. What I do love about the newer Rangers, obviously haven't watched a single one, is just the names. I mean, I texted you these names earlier this week, and it is honestly just like what you would assume, like you would either give the name to like a Kawasaki car or potentially an energy drink, because it's like Power Rangers Dino Force Plus, Power Rangers Mega Ninja Dino Squad, and it's great. Just take 4 buzzwords, chuck them in, perfect. Yeah.
Love it.
Love Power Rangers. Well, thank you for diving into my childhood with me. This
You're welcome.
This has been a chaotic week, I feel, with what we've had to watch. Lots of
You don't think do you think you took away any like internalized anti-Semitism from this movie?
That's where I hate myself from. Clearly.
Oh.
This is the movie that made me hate myself. No, I think what I took away from this movie is that you should never trust a man with a ponytail.
He was the leader of the Power Rangers. He was literally like framed to be the goodest of them all.
He was the de facto leader. I don't recognize his authority. Red is the Power Ranger leader.
Wow. Okay.
Strong feelings. So thank you, Simone, for doing this with me this week. And we come to the end of it. What do we feel like doing next week? Do you have any ideas?
No, I got nothing. I'm trying to think about Christmas.
So I've got one here. I've got a couple actually. Well, I'll go for the two because the others require special guests who mentioned them. Because I've obviously got the Falls episode with David,
Yeah.
and then I've got the trauma porn episode with Confessor.
Uh-huh.
And then I thought one of two, either cult episode, so we do cult movies,
Ooh.
or a Dane Cook episode.
Oh, Christ.
I know.
No, you know what? 2020 has been hard enough. I don't think we need to bring Dane Cook into the mix.
Fair. I also had another idea, which I just completely forgot about because I didn't write it down in my notes. Because America's obviously just going through this wonderful new thing. What if we did like a Wild West episode? I hate Wild Wests and Wild
Me
Westerns,
too. Why?
but
No, then let's do a cult episode. You and I both like a good cult.
yes, we do.
And in a
Love good
way,
cult.
America's moving on from a cult. So
That's also true. Yeah. Bad cult movies. Let's see what we got here. You see, they're gonna come up with lots of cult classics. I don't. Bad movies
okay.
featuring.
Where's- about cults.
Okay. Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I'm still getting it. Okay, 50 creepiest films about cults. Okay, I can try
Ooh,
that and
nice.
then look them up. Sorry, I'm snotty today. I'm snotty every.
Is it because of the cats?
So our YouTube listeners don't have to hear that.
I think that's why they come on. It's their ASMR.
Just some pervs out there. Okay. Let me see.
Films about cults. Here we go. Is The Babysitter really about cults?
Barely. No, I wouldn't say it is. Okay. Martha.
Ah, damn it. There's a movie
I
called
did really
Charlie
well, actually.
Says, which is absolutely spectacular. It's obviously about Charles Manson, but it got 59%.
Ah. Oh, there are a bunch of Children of the Corn movies.
Yeah, I saw that. That's very creepy.
There are many. Holy shit. We could even do a whole Children of the Corn episode, but it feels very close to Halloween.
Yeah, it really does.
We could do the original Children of the Corn, which is from 1984.
How much did it get?
35%.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's an option.
Yeah, okay.
I would preferably like more of a true crime thing. Okay, well I have
Yeah.
something that doesn't have a score.
I'm looking at movies that like I kind of recognize the name for.
Oh no, that's a documentary. Never mind. I really don't want to watch a documentary
No.
interviewing the Manson family.
Oh,
No. Rather not give those people any more time.
no.
Damn it.
Good Lord.
I know.
How is Us a cult film?
Barely. Come now, guys.
That is really. I get that the Perfection is a cult film.
Yeah, sure.
Plus, I mean, I would just love an opportunity to watch it again because it's Such a great film. Oh, The Invitation. That was a sick film.
That was a great movie. There's no way it got less than 50%.
88. Bitch.
Yeah. Okay, cult movies might not be working.
We got one.
Yeah, but it's even barely a cult movie. It's really just a horror movie. Why are all of these movies so old? Like, apologies to our YouTube watchers who are
This
stuck.
is this has become much of a
We tell you that they're unedited, and we mean it. Yeah, look, dude, I think we might have to lose the cult movies.
okay. We could do movies about America.
We could do movies about elections.
Yeah, cool. Let's see. Worst movies about elections. I like that one. Some great movies. Best election movies.
They're all, yeah, I know. Otherwise, I was thinking of doing some of the bigger flops of 2020.
Yeah,
because you know we're nearing the end.
We are nearing the end, thank God.
We can do Doolittle.
Oh shit, yeah, that came out this year, didn't it?
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, I'm really finding it difficult to find election films.
Yeah, same. Okay, so we can do Doolittle, and
Let's see.
trying to
Worst.
find something else that there's something called Irresistible. That's actually an election movie.
Oh, really? Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, should we
can
do Irresistible and Doolittle?
Yeah, sure.
Because yeah, then we're tying both in together.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just put that down so that I don't forget. So it's Irresistible, Doolittle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, cool. All right.
Okay.
Ready to get back into it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll count you in. So, Simone, what are we going to do next week?
You know, I think we can more or less declare 2020 is like done now, right? Like the US election is finally fucking over.
Yes.
We're heading into Christmas. I think next week we'll have to start recording Christmas episodes, if I'm correct.
Yeah. I think it might be a week too early, but I think we've got
close.
one more week, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, so this episode's coming out then, and then next week's episode is gonna come out.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, squarely
Oh my
on
God.
December 1st. So, okay, so this is our last episode. So this is our last episode before we go into Christmas. And you know what? Because we're wrapping it up, we're just gonna do some failed movies of 2020.
Yes. It's this year has been hard enough for all of us. Let's look back on the horrible times and just say,
Just
I don't
laugh
know her.
and laugh.
Yeah, and then we can slide into 2021's DMs like that drunk guy on New Year's. So we are going to be doing Doolittle, the 2020 wonderful Robert Downey Jr. film, and
Irresistible.
Irresistible. I thought so. I wanted to say Irresponsible, which I guess was the creation
No.
of this movie.
Irresistible, the Steve Carell movie about elections during an election year, is bold.
So very, very bold. But I guess apropos for what it was. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, this will be exciting. What is your optimistic thing for this week? Because it has been a week.
You know what? I'm going to say I'm very happy for America. I know that this is not like a complete fix or anything, but I am personally very happy. I will not have to keep reading Trump tweets as news. He can just go back to being this sad little man that we all are able to ignore. Yeah,
it's so nice to finally be free of that kind of really tension building couple of 4 years.
So America, I'm stoked for you. Very excited for you. I know that there's still a long road ahead for you guys, but like God, at least it's not bad. At least, you know, the long road isn't on fire anymore.
Exactly. Like the amount of people, and this is also my optimistic thing for the week, is the fact that, you know, Biden won the election as well. And it's just the sheer amount of like American friends of mine who I see who are just so happy and tearful and just like living in this wonderful moment, because we definitely need to take it for what it is. And yeah, like you said, there is a long road ahead of them, but also let's just enjoy this moment that, you know, in a horrible fucking year, over a horrible 4-year period where fascism has been allowed to just consume us, to know that all hope is not lost, that there is still some good in the world, and, you know, 51% apparently. So, you know, like, fuck, that's awesome, guys. And may it change a lot of things all over the world as well. Be the start of a new revolution.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you are American listeners, we hope you're not too hungover from the celebrations from election week. And, you know, to the rest of our listeners, you know, I hope this has inspired you to realize that there is still hope out there, and that through even our tiny little optimistic podcast, there is joy to be found in the strangest of places. And if you want to tell us about those joyous events that you found in your strangest of places, please do let us know. And where can the people do that, Simone?
They can talk to us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. They can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com. They can come hang out with us on the Robots Radio Discord. They can check out our website at the link below. And guys, Black Lives still matter. So we've got a bunch of links where you can help out there, even if you don't have any money.
There you go, guys. So thank you guys so much for listening. And as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Goodbye.
Bye.